Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, Alex Pitt.
Hello, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, I'm so distracted today. I'm so distracted by the most stupid shit, which actually I'm going to use in some sort of tenuous way to come back to a business lesson today. I've done it before, I'll do it again. No, this morning I had to go onto Facebook for something. I've got a long old to-do list today, so I couldn't even tell you what the thing was. But I don't use Facebook much on a personal level, so I'm going to say it was something work-related. And I do find myself tittering away at some of the things I find on Facebook these days. I know, by the way, I can hear the outcry. Alex, what the fuck are you even doing on Facebook? Is it the year 2008? Hear me out. All right. Facebook still has its benefits. They are few and far between. Like I say, I don't use it much on a personal level, but there's still some interesting stuff that's worth engaging with every now and then. Unfortunately, though, every time I get logged on, I just find myself laughing because I'm in a lot of groups, right? I can't help but giggle at the misplaced fiery rage that every single member of all of the local Facebook groups seems to have. I don't know if anyone is in any of these, but when I say the local ones, I mean like, you know, North London, this postcode, friends of sort of thing. Everyone in these groups is so fucking cross. Why are they so angry? There doesn't seem to be a single thing that anyone can put into a local Facebook group that won't send the members into an absolute frenzy. They are angry about the parks. They're angry about the shops. They're angry about the parking, the high street, the dogs off of Leeds, the roadworks, the speed limits. Oh my good lord. They are angry about how many chicken shops there are. That's a big one in my local Facebook group. I have a little scroll through every day and I thank my lucky stars that in a world that is really quite bleak and scary at times, I at least don't find myself embroiled in such silly little petty complaints. So yeah, I do find myself distracted. I do read those posts. I have a little chuckle to myself and I move on to the meatier content. By meatier content, I mean, like I say, I'm in a lot of groups. I'm in a lot of ones about business, about marketing, about all of the things that I find interesting. And I like to see what kinds of questions business owners are asking. And I don't just do it on Facebook, that would be silly. I have a look on Reddit. I have a look on some of the various paid networks that I'm in. I only mentioned Facebook because, like I say, I was distracted first thing because there's a new chicken shop opening on the high street. It was fresh in my mind. It was hilarious. Now I'm trying to get back on track and talk about something actually business related with you all. So today's episode, we're on track. Today's episode is based on not so much a question that I see asked a lot, but a very, very simple and very common mistake I see every thriving business make at some point or another. And here's how it tends to go. I'll see someone post a question in one of these groups about a struggle they are having. Let's say, for example, my website's been up for 3 months and I've not made a sale yet. Or I want to grow my subscriber list. I'm not getting enough people to download my freebie. I'm not getting enough paid clients, etc., right? Someone will post that question and someone else will come in and say, hello, yes, let me help you. Before I do, however, can you tell me this one simple bit of information about your business so that I understand the situation better? And it will be something about data, such as how many visits are you getting to your site? What's the average order value when someone buys from you? What tends to happen so often is that you'll realise the original poster, the person asking the question, hasn't got a Scooby. They don't know what the answer is. They have no real data on how their business is doing, where the strengths are, what's above or below average, where the opportunities are, where the potential lies, because they're not tracking anything. Tracking the metrics is you're like crunching the numbers, watching the data like a hawk. It's essential. It's not optional for building your business, because in not doing so, you are simply pissing in the wind and hoping hoping for the best. I worked with a client recently on a web page that they wanted to rework. They were saying to me, Alex, this isn't working. The current page is not doing the job it needs to do. It was not bringing in the cold hard cash they were expecting. So they said, could you please, Alex, work with the wider team on how to rework this content, change it all up and rework anything that isn't currently working? I said, brilliant. Okay, let's do that. First of all then, how are you tracking what is working and what isn't? And they were like, it's not working. I was like, yep, no, I get that. What are people actually clicking on though? Which sections are people scrolling down to? At what stage in the process are you losing them? What pages on your website are doing really well and what's different? What questions are they asking your customer service team that you assumed were very clear from this page without any more explanation? And they're like, yeah, the page isn't working. I'm like, right, okay, fucking hell, we don't have a clue. We don't know what's going on here. First of all, can we put some heat mapping on this page so that we can start to paint a picture? We live in this wonderful age where there is a tool for bloody everything. You really can create such a rich tapestry of understanding how your customer thinks, feels, what they understand, what they need help with, what they're not buying. It's quite creepy if I'm honest, but there we are. So, what should you be tracking? I hear you ask. Well, bear with me. I'm going to give you a few bits to keep your eye on. First and foremost, your website traffic, your website visits. So this is just the digital version of checking if anyone's walking into your shop or if they can even find your shop on the high street. So we want to be looking at website visits, your traffic, how many people are showing up to your site, the bounce rate. Now that just means how many people are walking in thinking, nah, fuck that for a laugh, turning around and walking straight out again within seconds. That's your bounce rate. The average time on the site, how long are they sticking around for? Top pages, what are they actually looking at while they're in there? And your traffic sources, where are they coming from? Did they find you on Google? Did they come through Instagram? Did they click a link from somebody else's blog? So imagine you're selling a little online shop that sells handmade candles. You post about your new product on Instagram. That's your traffic source. 200 people click on the link to check it out. That's how many website visits you've got. If 180 people click that link, as soon as they get on your website, they fuck immediately off again. That's a high bounce rate, which means something probably isn't working. Maybe the page takes too long to load, maybe it wasn't what they expected, maybe there's too much info and they're a bit overwhelmed. But knowing all of that information can tell you a lot. And if you're finding that you're not making the sales that you want, you can work out whether or not it's because you haven't got enough people in the door or whether your shop's in just a bit of a state and you need to sort out the process a little bit. Right, next up, your customer engagement and retention. So this is all about the people that keep coming back, not just because they've run out of whatever it is that you're selling, but to actually care about your brand, to actually engage with what you do. You want to be looking at how many people who have bought come back and buy again, how many people are opening the emails that you send them, and how many people are clicking on any button in that email, any reviews and feedback on any website, not just your own, social media interactions, that kind of thing. So if you think about Netflix, I know this is quite a niche example, but with Netflix, you don't just sign up once and leave. You stay because you're engaged, because you want to binge a load of stuff, but also they're constantly recommending you stuff that you're going to love. They follow up with notifications and emails like, hey, you might like this, or this is what everyone else is watching, and you come back, you log in. That's what you want to aim for, just finding those small ways to stay connected and giving people a reason to come back. Then you want to be tracking who is coming back, who are your big fans. Right, well this one seems a bit obvious, but your sales and conversion rates, where it all gets very real. How many people are actually parting with their cash to buy from you, and how much are they spending? So total sales, obvious one. Your conversion rate is something that I think everyone should be tracking. That is how many site visitors, how many people have landed on your site and are actually buying something. Now the percentage on average is usually quite small. It's between about 1% and 5% of people that come to your website are ready to buy from you. But also your average order value, are people buying one thing or 10? How many people are chucking stuff in their cart and then bailing? That's your cart abandonment. All sorts. Now there's way too many variables on your sales and conversion rates. I'm not going to give you too many examples, but what I might do, now I'm saying it out loud, is I might actually put this together into a guide. So if you want that, send me an email. But finally, your content and your marketing performance. So this is just about understanding what's working with your marketing and what is just noise into the abyss. So think about tracking your post reach, which is just how many people saw it, how many eyeballs are on it, engagement, people who actually give a shit, your likes, your comments, your shares, your replies, your click-throughs. If you gave them a link to follow, did anyone actually click it? So say, for example, you post 3 reels on Instagram. One gets 200 views, one gets 1,500, one gets 50. And the one that got all of the views with 1,500 was you talking directly to the camera, sharing a story about why you started your business. That's going to tell you something. Maybe your audience likes that kind of personal behind the scenes stuff. So now you know what to create more of. I'm not saying you need to be a data scientist. You don't need a marketing degree. You don't need to be an absolute expert at this, but you're not going to grow if you don't know what's going on in the nuts and bolts of your business. You don't want to be pissing in the wind. You don't want to be making anything guesswork. It's just exhausting doing it that way. So start simple. This is my challenge for you for this week. Start simple. Pick one thing from each of those categories and start tracking it this week. That's it. You can build from there, because once you've got the data, you've got that power in your hand. You can test things, you can try new ideas, and actually know what is working without throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. All right, deep breath. That is your crash course in beginner metrics. You don't need to know all of it straight away. You've just got to start. All right, my loves, that's it for me for this week. Track that shit. I will see you here next time. If you love what you're hearing in this podcast, but you are still yet to start that rebel empire of your own, I've got something that might help. Head over to the show notes of this episode where you will find a free 7-step action plan to kickstarting your first side hustle. It's got pretty pictures, it's got activities. What more could you want, my loves? Get it downloaded, try it out, let me know how you get on.